Welcome, Lee. Head of the trip to Airdrie tomorrow. Last game before the break for the internationals. I suppose ideally you want to sign off on a good note for the break.
Of course, absolutely. That would be the plan. That's what we're aiming to do. We got to take all the positive stuff from last week's second half towards what will be a tough game against a team that's obviously been promoted last year, but come up off the back of a very positive season, and you can see they're still playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. So, really good game, and we are looking forward to it.
Airdrie seem to have obviously played with quite an attacking style coming up last year, and they've carried that on. Do you think if it's quite an open game, that maybe suits you more, suits you better? Rather than...
Yeah, I mean, they're probably, from what I've seen, one of the better footballing sides in the league, but so were Queen's Park, and we were lucky enough and able to get the better side of that, and that's got to be our aim again against Airdrie. But as I say, Rhys has come up. He's got a group of lads that are used to winning football matches. They are very settled in the way they want to play their football. They've had players that have been together for a while, so they understand each other very well, and that's transferring into the results on the pitch. Yeah, they've had a couple of sore ones, but I think if you had asked Rhys at the beginning of the season if after 7 games they would have had the results they've had, then I'm sure he would have snapped their hand off for their first trip back into the Championship for a while.
The next couple of games you're coming up against the two sort of promoted sides to round off the first sort of quarter of the campaign, but I don't know if there's much you can take with the fact that there's much between the teams. When you look at the teams that have come up and the teams that have come down, there's not much to choose this season.
No, really tough. And as you say, the two teams that have come up off the back of being consistently winning football matches, and confidence is everything. They're used to winning. Yeah, it's a different league, but they are rightly got promoted last year. Fantastic seasons themselves, and they're carrying that confidence into the new season. But again, from our aspects, we've got to look after ourselves, take care of ourselves. We let ourselves down in the first half last week. We were way too passive. In the second half, when we were a little bit more positive, more aggressive in our play, you could see we caused Raith problems, and Raith are a team that should be near the top of the league this year. We also, off the back of a really positive result up at the National Stadium. So, from our point of view, we know we can match the best teams in this league. But there's no point talking the talk. You've got to walk the walk. We've got to go out there and prove it, and we've got to believe in a group of players that we have in the building that are capable of doing that.
Do you set yourselves sort of targets for each kind of chunk of games sort of thing when you come up towards this first end of the
No, I mean, our target for before the first quarter finishes is to hopefully finish with a total of 12 points. I mean, that's the maximum we can get, and that's what we've got to aim for. So we've got to look from our own selfish point of view is to win our next 2 games. Easier said than done, but that's the way we've got to look at it. We're disappointed with the way the results have gone. I think performances have picked up a little bit, and we are creating a heck of a lot more chances now, so that's got to be a positive as opposed to the first 3 games of the season where we didn't really create enough, coming out of the cup games where we did create, but now we at least look a threat going forward. We've just got to keep the back door shut, and that's a big difference this season compared to last.
Mark, is that something you can see, feel yourself that the past few games there's been a bit more chances there, and from a striker's point of view, you guys want to be in there and hopefully getting on the end of them?
Yeah, that's it. Certainly coming from Partick Thistle, I feel like we were creating a lot of chances, and we were getting on the front foot in games, and that turned from Saturday as well in the second half. I felt like we made the chances. We need to start being more clinical in front of goal as well with strikers. Me especially, and hopefully with more goals in the team we can win more games.
Has that been a bit of frustration that you've not managed to get more yourself this season so far?
Yeah, of course. It's the goal of any striker to get as many goals as possible, but I'll stick with the processes and make sure that I'm training hard, doing the right things, and they'll come.
It's quite a young strike force, I think, at the moment, sort of thing, but I suppose you don't get any sort of for free in this league, sort of thing. Whatever age you are, you just got to work at it. Yeah,
exactly. But one thing we do bring is energy and passion for the game, and I've learned off different strikers that have been a bit older in the last few years, and I'm sure the other strikers have as well. So we need to learn quick as well to make sure that we're scoring more goals.
Now, Mark, you were saying there that you're bringing energy, and it made me think the second half on Saturday, you came on at half-time, and you did bring energy to that. You were moving around well, you were chasing up everything. What did the gaffer say to you before you came on?
Yeah, it was to the whole team that we had to get closer to our men and be a lot more starting to bite at things, and because we like to keep our shape, but there's times that we have to go after the ball, and when I get the chance to try to get the shot back, that's all I was thinking, so I like to bring as much energy as possible.
The fact you say getting the shot back, because you've been a regular all this year and from before, but you have got great competition for that slot just now. Does that improve your game? Yeah,
I think it does for everyone. There's good competition in every area of the pitch now, and we'll push each other to get better as a team, to get better individually, and certainly I'm hopeful for my performance that I'll also improve with that competition.
It's all about goals for you this season, isn't it? You're going to add goals. You seem like a guy that wants to get goals in these games.
Yeah, as I said, it's the target of every striker to add goals, but I know there's a lot of different strengths to my game that I can bring, so as long as I'm doing the right processes and working hard and getting in the right areas, then the goals will come.
Lee, what are we like in the injury situation running up to this game? Is there much of a change this week?
No, no real change, to be honest. Yeah, a couple of, just the longer term ones. It's good to see Ben back on the grass though, so he's probably a few days ahead of where we thought we was going to be, but he's still 2 or 3 weeks off. Aidan's back out running on the pitch, which is good. Murdy's the long term one. A couple other wee bumps and bruises, but hopefully shouldn't affect come team selections for Saturday. So yeah, we're heading in the right direction. A lot of lads had a good reserve game under the belt on Tuesday up at Dundee. It was good for Fraser and Franny to get a goal, and there was a lot of really good performances from that as well. So that bodes well when it comes to putting pressure on the lads that have the shirt at the moment. These lads are in good fettle, ready to come on, make an impact if they're a substitute. So that will help the group as well.
Yeah, a 2-0 victory for the reserves. That's a pretty decent result.
No, it's good. It's never an easy game up there. It's on Dundee North End's pitch, which is not the easiest surface in the world. So fair play to them. Delighted they got a clean sheet. Delighted to score the 2 goals, and it was great. There was 2 attacking players that got them as well. But there was a lot of really good performances as well, which puts pressure on the boys that have the shirt.
Now, just a slightly different question here just now is. Recently we've had 2 of the younger players representing Scotland. Now, how does that affect you? How does it show what the club's doing? And are you impressed with what they're doing?
They're doing great. And we've also got an international in Frankie Musonda as well, who's looking forward to African Cup of Nations. So having 2 young boys, listen, that's all credit to the lads that work in the academy. The work they do is absolutely fantastic, and it's proven by the fact that we've got, I think, 11 of our current first team squad have come through the academy at one time in their careers. So that's what a club like us has to be built on. Again, credit to all the coaches from under 9s all the way up to the under 18s. They play a massive role in what this club's all about. And we have to, yes, we'll make the odd signing here and there, absolutely, but we have to produce our own, and that's what we're trying to do. And I say the numbers don't lie. It's really good to have your Marques and your Paul Smiths and your Fraser Brydens and all these guys coming through, but for the 2 lads that are playing international football for a club like Ayr United, it's brilliant. Kudos to the coaches from that side of things. They're not in there on just a box ticking exercise. They fully deserve their opportunities, and these are 2 lads that have been down south and training with a couple of clubs on a trial basis as well. So they're certainly catching the eye of other clubs as well.
Now, Mark, you're a well-known established player for the first team now, but you came through that kind of pathway. How do you help the younger players when they're coming up with that transition in? Yeah,
I tried to look back at my own experiences coming through and what would have helped me at that point in my stage of my career. And we've went through a similar type of journey. So I know that any experiences that I picked up from tips from other players that I'll look to pass on as well.
Just going to ask you, have you any kind of plans for next week when during the breaks? I think you try and get any sort of bounce games arranged with the guys? Or just
Yeah, potentially we're looking at something, maybe for some point next week. We also have a lot of English. We have a lot of English lads here, so it's an opportunity to allow them to get back down to see families who they haven't seen for weeks. So we'll weigh up all that, but it would be nice to get another friendly game under our belts the back end of next week if we could. So let's see.